I'm back. Um, it's early. Notice my raggedy ass hair, and but check the fit. Throwback. I got the throwback shirt on as well. Cause we were just at Darlington this past weekend, and I just a lot to unravel here. Like action wise, not much happened in the Cup Series. I may add. Like I don't understand what it is about NASCAR fans these days. I just don't get it. Um, I don't particularly like JGR or Truex, for that matter. I really don't like him, but um, it's not my it's not my concern that he won. It's the how he won that race. And like last throwback race, like last year, wasn't this bad. In my opinion, wasn't this bad. And like I've always given Darlington the benefit of the doubt, and because it holds the throwback race and whatever, the Summit 500, all that fun stuff. Like we had good battles last year at Darlington. Like both races at Darlington last year, both excellent races. I didn't complain about it because I enjoyed both those races, even though both JGR drivers knocked my driver out of contention for a win. So near the end of those races, um, regardless of that, they were both excellent races, and I had nothing to complain about. But I don't know what it is about this fucking package. Excuse my language, but it was just not it. Like I enjoyed the Xfinity race way more than the Cup race, and that is saying something. Cause I felt like the Xfinity races were a little bit more competitive, a little bit more battles and stuff like that. And I'll get into the Cup Series in a minute, but I think the lower series put on a better quality of racing than the Cup Series this weekend, and that's kind of sad because it's like the throwback weekend's like built up, it's like hyped up to be such a great weekend, but it just didn't feel like that for the Cup Series. Like there was a bunch of great looking cars out there, and I loved every second of looking at all these old cars. It made me think about my childhood, like growing up and seeing all these cars and whatever. And it's early, so I need my coffee. But it just felt dull. And what I don't like about races is if there's like nothing happening like that's engaging to the fan, then why do we just sit there and watch it? That's my concern. Like Truex, yes, had the untouchable car yesterday, which I don't mind. Like I don't mind a dominant car like leading a bunch of laps and winning the race. My thing is being that dominant to a point where majority of the field, like up to like maybe the top 15, is lapped, probably multiple times, and no one can battle or contend for the lead because he's 9, 10, 12 seconds ahead of everyone else. And it just reminds me of like the Coke 600 a handful of years ago when he led all like pretty much almost every lap, and it was just not enjoyable to watch. People are like, oh, we don't need wrecks and cautions, crap like that all the time to make it enjoyable. I'm like, I'm not saying there needed to be like a bunch of cautions and a bunch of wrecks to happen. Like I wanted like some battle, some excitement, like something to grab me in. Like I watched the entire race and I never got that until the last 25 laps of that race, where Larson was trying to get to Truex, but no one can touch him, which is irritating to the utmost so irritating. Like, I just this fan base. It's like if you don't like a race that they clearly thought was fucking amazing and incredible, it's like they're gonna disown you and say you're not a fan if you didn't like that race. And if it was boring to you and you didn't like that race and it was a bad race and I can't help you, then you're not a fan. It's like you can't say shit like that to people and say you're not a fan of the sport if you don't like a certain race. I'm sorry, but and people made the excuse like it had everything to do with Truex and shit like that. I'm like, I don't give a shit if that Truex won again. That's not my concern. It's the way he won that race. It's like people are like, oh, he made it look so smooth to blah 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 to win that race. I'm like, yeah, when you have a car like that, it's kind of hard to compete with that. It's like it was like a battle for second, but even the guy in third was battling to get up to second from 4 or 5 seconds back from the second place car, which is ridiculous. Like the people sixth, seventh on back were like 20 plus seconds behind near the end of that race, and that was absolutely ridiculous. No race should be like that. I'm sorry, but especially at Darlington, no race should be like that. And like it was stupid that Gordon even says like he doesn't get the credit he deserves for how talented he is. I'm like, are you kidding me? He gets shoved down our throats with the woe is me crap and how he thinks we're still playing the woe is me crap from like several years ago from when he first got into when he was with like Furniture Road Racing and just got into Joe Gibbs Racing and whatever, saying woe is me, I came from a hard background of racing, like I was with a crappy team and now I'm not, kind of thing. And he gets that the way he got his mindset of like, oh, you can't touch me, like, and if you do, you can't race me hard, or I'm gonna whine about it like every Toyota driver out there, and get the thought in his head like he can be a whiny little bitch, like expecting people to give him the lead, like at Darlington last year with the throwback race. Like the battle between him and Truex was insanely good up until the point like where I heard that he was just expecting Chase to just hand him the lead. I'm like, no, he has that mindset. Like if you can't, like he doesn't like racing people hard or racing them at all. It was like when Logano, the year Logano won the championship, what, 2018? And that race at Martinsville, that was hard racing. That was straight up Martinsville racing, and Martin Truex whined so much that it like just turned me off. Like, like if you can't handle hard racing like that, don't race at all. Like fans like the hard racing, hard contact racing, the battles, the just rivalries. We just like the intensity when it comes to racing. We didn't get much of that yesterday. Like, I'm not saying there need to be wrecks, there needs to be all these cautions and blah blah blah. I just needed something that we just didn't get yesterday. Like, there was a little glimpse of like little battles here and there, but it was just not something that kept me engaged the entire time. Like great. Now my dog's barking. Fantastic. But what I'm saying is like I don't mind dominating a race. That's not my concern. Anyone can dominate that race and I'd be fine. They win. That's like congratulations to them. They deserved it. But it's just the way he won that race is what irks me, and how fans say like if you didn't like that race, you're not a fan. if you like the people like they didn't watch that race, so that's probably why they're saying that. I'm like, no, I sat through that whole damn race and I didn't get an ounce of excitement out of that damn thing, not once. And people are saying like, if you don't get like wrecks every 5 seconds or something happening every 5 seconds, you listen to them. I'm like, no, I don't. I enjoy most races, I do, and yesterday was not it. We didn't get many battles that you claim there was the entire race. The only thing compelling about that race was the ending, which is sad, very very sad. So, and it's like getting to the point where people are like, if you don't like this race, you're complaining about like you're complaining that you didn't like this race and you're such a terrible person, a terrible fan. You're not a fan. Blah blah blah. I'm like, first off, sharing an opinion about a race isn't complaining. Sharing an opinion about the shitty package that they ran yesterday is not complaining. There's two sides of this fan base. People who enjoy this kind of racing and like the package and the racing, and people who don't particularly like the package but enjoy the racing. Well, there's not more like three people, three types of people, and people who just don't like the package or the racing in general. Like I'm the type of person who wants to enjoy the package and the racing, but at these types of tracks, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And what's sad, I enjoyed the Kansas race more than Darlington, and I'm not particularly a big fan of Kansas and the person who won it, because JGR won 2 weeks in a row now. So it comes to the fact that if you don't comply, like with how the way the world works, it's like you don't comply with what other people like and enjoy and whatever, and you're supposed to like, then they're gonna disown you and call you names and shit like that, which is what I'm starting to hate about this fucking fan base. It's like I don't get it. Racing is supposed to be enjoyable, and the fact that people are telling people like you can't have an opinion and you can't dislike a race because of the package, or just the fact that it just flat out wasn't enjoyable to me. It's okay to not like a race and other people can like. If you liked it, that's great. Great for you. You enjoyed it. Some of us didn't, and that should be fine too. It's not, and everyone's thinking is like, oh, you didn't like it based on who won. I'm like, no, I don't give a shit who won. What my reasoning is the lack of competitive racing yesterday. Like for people, it was like hard to pass, or they had no grip. They were loose, they were tight, whatever. It was just, and once the leader took off, you couldn't touch him and you couldn't pass him, and it was just not enjoyable whatsoever. Moving on from that, I'm going to talk about Noah Gragson once again, because people can't seem to shut up about him. Yes, he got DQ'd yesterday. Not yesterday, but his finish from Saturday, which was stupid. But, and lost his Dash for Cash, his third straight Dash for Cash, but that he could have gone and competed again at Dover for another Dash for Cash and took all four, but he's not able to do that. He got two, and that's fine. That's not my concern. What my concern is people bitching and moaning about Noah no matter what he does. People are like, I wonder if he like donated to charity and shit like that with all that money he got and blah blah blah. I'm like, first off, why is it you're concerned about what he does with that money? It's his money, not yours. It doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. And two, and if he did, he'd still be bitching and complaining that he's such an arrogant asshole and he's some young kid who needs an attitude check, and I'm like, dude's like early 20s, early 20s, and people are like, he needs to grow up, he needs an attitude check. I'm like, realize when I was that age, I had the same attitude and mindset. I had the same kind of mindset he has, but I'm not a racer, so I don't have the racer mindset, but I have like, I just want to live my life, have fun kind of mindset, like be myself. Like to this day, I still want to have fun and be myself, but I'm getting to the age where it's like I'm gonna be 30 this year. It's kind of a different ballgame when you turn 30. That's not saying like you can't have fun when you're 30, but it's like your responsibilities get more and more intense as years goes on. Like for me, I'm working, but we have to pay taxes, like support ourselves and whatever, and that's what Noah's trying to do. He's just out there having fun, living his life at an early age in his 20s by doing what he loves. And I love his attitude of like, I don't give a shit. I just want to have fun, but I also want to be competitive and win races. And people are like, well, he needs an attitude check and blah blah blah. He always whines when he doesn't win. I'm like, I'm sorry, but how is a driver not winning a race and showing any kind of emotion from not winning that race needing an attitude check? I don't understand. People are like, wouldn't you be upset if you didn't win that race and you came up short? Of course not. You wouldn't, because you're not a racer. You're not Noah. You're not in his head. Any racer who doesn't win and comes up short is gonna show emotion of being upset, and that's fine. But people call him a crybaby and whiny and blah 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 because he didn't win and didn't get his way. I'm like, no, he has accepted that if he doesn't win, he didn't win. He didn't have the car to go and win that race, and he doesn't ever point fingers at anybody on his crew and shit like that. I guess like Saturday he was a little frustrated with one of the pit stops and shit like that they had, but other than that, he ran extremely well. He's really good every single week and gets solid finishes. But when he like at first won the Dash for Cash, people were like, I wonder if he donated that to charity, like that money to charity. I'm like, no, he donated a lot of that money, all that money, to his team. You know, that team that makes him competitive every week, brings fast cars every week. Yeah, that team, people who have families and trying to support them. Yeah, those people. But people keep going like, oh, he's such an arrogant. It's no growth. He's not gonna donate shit and blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm sorry, but are you him? Do you know him personally? I don't think so. But anyway, people, this fan base is just obnoxious as hell, and I'm so sick of it. But I just want to talk about Byron for a second. Byron, 10 straight top 10 finishes, and he's not getting enough attention and credit for how hard that is to do. And the last person to do that, or come close to that, is Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon. With that number car, I may add. And I want to talk about young drivers and expectations for young drivers that fans put on these young drivers. It's obnoxious to put expectations on these young drivers to go out and automatically go out and like dominate and like set the world on fire against all the veterans and shit like that. It doesn't work that way. When Byron came into the Cup Series, y'all said, oh, he's a bust. He's not performing well. He was moved up too fast and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, he moved up quickly up into the Cup Series. He spent a year in trucks. I spent a year in Xfinity, and now he's in Cup, like, what, third, fourth year like fourth year in Cup. And last year he got his first win, and that's absolutely incredible. I'm thrilled for him. I have his shirt. That's the first win shirt um, from Daytona. He won his first race at Daytona, the summer race. Um, and then he won at Homestead this year. But the thing is, these young drivers don't really get the grasp of being like super competitive and starting to win races until like their third or fourth year of their Cup career. Not every driver is the same. I get that. Every young driver wins at their own time. Like it took McDowell how long to get his first win? So I'll say it was a fluke, but first win. He's been in the sport for how long? And he just now got his first Cup win, and probably only Cup win. Because let's be real, he's not in a competitive car and not a competitive team. But these young drivers have so much pressure on them to perform right away. Like when Chase came to the sport, people expected him to fire off because of his last name, of who he was, and blah blah blah. Like he was a very consistent young driver. He had one of the best rookie seasons since Denny Hamlin 10 years prior to that. One Rookie of the Year. He has come close so many times to winning races in the 24 car, but I just felt like it was a timing thing, and I felt like he wasn't ever going to win in that 24. Only like in the dual races, like the dual race where he won in the 24, but it wasn't a points race. Well, technically it wasn't a points race. Like Canada towards really anything. I just felt like it was just destined once he got to that 9 car that something just shifted. So 2018 just felt like a different year. It just felt like a different energy. Guy's still in his early 20s, like mid-20s, is already Cup champion. 11 race wins and a Cup champion. Not many drivers can say that. Not many drivers. Only 2 other drivers have won their Cup championship at a younger age than he did. That's impressive. And people said he wouldn't amount to much. He wouldn't win, is not capable of winning races. But when he got that first win, he was just like now firing all cylinders. It was like 2018, won 3 races. 2019, won 3 races. Then 2020, fired off on all cylinders again. Got his first win at the end of May. It's May now. I'm not really worried. At Charlotte, well, he should have won this Coke 600, but that didn't work out very well, did it? Won 5 races, plus the championship, including the championship. It's like, it took him, nearly 100 races, another 100 starts, to get that first win. It took Larson the same amount of time. Chase had like 8, 9 runner-up finishes before he got his first win. And he had to compete against Truex to do it. And beat Truex the year after that at the same goddamn track. In similar fashion, but it was a closer finish than the first one. And since then, they're like, oh, he only knows how to run well on and win on its road courses. I'm like, clearly you don't understand how talented this kid is. Not really a kid, but anyone younger than me I call a kid. He's won, yes, at several road courses. At Watkins Glen twice, the Roval twice, Daytona road course. Yeah, five road course races already. Majority of his races, yes, came from road courses. But he's won at Talladega, Kansas, Dover, Phoenix. Please tell me how. Oh, and Charlotte. Like, how is that not impressive to you people? He's won, and he won the All-Star race at Bristol. He's good at Bristol. And Martinsville. Martinsville. He's very good at Martinsville, too. Like, he's good on every single type of track. But people say he's only good at road courses. Like, all these young drivers are expected to win and win fast. You're not going to win at the drop of a hat when you have the likes of Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Truex, Hamlin, now even Chase, because he's now considered a veteran, because he's in his sixth season of the Cup Series. And the likes of, who else is there that's competitive? Not many people right now are being that competitive. But you get what I'm saying. Cup Series, you have to go through the likes of those kind of people, like, to be able to get that first one or just be competitive. Like with Bell, he is in his second Cup season? I want to say second Cup season, and he has a win. No one really expected him to win that early, but I wasn't surprised that he did. Guy's super incredibly talented. I don't doubt that. And and Chris Buescher, he had won the first race at Pocono, but it was like weather shortened, so, and people have seemed to forgotten that he's won there and won at all. And people doubted Alex Bowman to ever get a win, but he won 3 times. He got his first win at Chicago, and then the next season, Auto Club, and now Richmond. They got, like, these drivers are capable of winning races. You can't just expect them just to fire off and be like, boop, 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 win, all the time. It doesn't work like that. Like with Chase, he had to go out and prove himself numerous times against these veterans that he was up against, that he belonged and he wasn't going to take anyone's shit. After 2017, he, like, all guns were blazing. It's like boom, boom, boom. Like, he was done taking people's shit after the whole Martinsville incident. He was done with that bullshit. He doesn't let people run him over anymore. And you can see the way he drives. Made him a better driver. Thanks, Hamlin, for being an asshole still. I still don't like you. But anyway, like, the Final Four last year, including Jay, was 3 guys that had cost him wins over the years, and been, like, kind of rivals with. Not necessarily Brad, but Brad has cost us some races. Logano, more importantly, has lost those races intentionally, I may add. And he admitted to it at Homestead last year. Because he says a whiny little bitch about Bristol last year when it was just a racing incident. So, we're moving on. I'm over the whole thing. Oh, I want to talk about Hailie Deegan for a second. Hailie Deegan. Yeah, she was on pace to have, like, a solid, like, maybe top 15 day, top 15 finish, but got caught up in, like, some incident, like, probably near the end of that race. I didn't watch it, but I saw, like, she got caught up into an incident. Like, it's just a lucky game at this point with her. She can run really well and get good finishes if people don't run into her, or if people, stupid little boys don't, like, wreck and, like, she gets caught up in everyone's mess. She doesn't cause it. But there was a post like, Sheldon Creed is better than Hailie Deegan because he can win, like, with one arm, and some stupid shit like that on Instagram. I'm like, realize Sheldon Creed is a Truck Series champion. Has been in the Truck Series a little bit longer than Hailie. She hasn't been in the truck series very long. It's her rookie season. She's not even 20 yet. She's learning. Plus, she's a female. And you people absolutely despise that in the sport for some reason. Some of you, not all, but some of you. Um, and the people who say she can't drive when she has no talent, I want to say to them, can you outrun her on a normal day in a race car? I guarantee you can't. She's won a couple of like dirt off-road dirt like cup like truck championships at a young age. She's won a few ARCA races. K&N, ARCA, whatever you want to call it, since K&N's not really a thing anymore. And she's not the only female driver in the truck series, but she's the one that's being the most competitive. Is the term I want to use. Competitive, is battling kind of near the front, but kind of not. She's not like Jennifer Jo Cobb, who's just is not hardly competitive at all, and it's just there to be there. I'm not shitting on Jennifer Jo Cobb, but it's just Hailie Deegan's in slightly better equipment than Jennifer Jo Cobb. That's all I'm saying. But it's like people just shit on her just to shit on her, just based on the fact that she's a female. And I want to say that just because guys who support Hailie and defend her and her talents doesn't make them simps. They're not every person, sorry for my cat's tail, aren't going after her because she's a female and supporting just because she's a female. We support her because we know how talented she is, and she's just going to get better over time. Just going to get better over time. Her best finish so far is 13th. That's an improvement. She gets better and better every single week. If you look at her finishes, it just got progressively better. Yeah, she finished 20th this past weekend, but that doesn't show how good she actually is in this series. And plus, there's no practice, no qualifying, so she's going to track she's never raced on. And that's freaking difficult for any rookie. And you expect her to just pick up the pace where all the veterans are, and expect her to just go out there and run like a fucking champion and a winner already. It's it doesn't work like that. If there's no practice, she's going to struggle a little bit until she finds her footing. Until they get practice back, this is how it's going to be. So, there is that. Rookie, no practice, no qualifying. And she's going to track she's never raced on. So you need to cut her some slack. Just because guys, or me in particular, support her and defend her talents doesn't make us simps. Yeah, because I'm sure some girls out there will be like, "Ooh, she's so pretty," and blah blah blah. But I don't care about that. But like who you want to like. I don't judge. But yeah, it doesn't make us simps for supporting a female driver to do well and be better than Danica was as a failure of a driver in the Cup Series. So we're moving on to Dover this weekend, which I'm kind of excited for. I love Dover. Chase is really good there, and we have a chance to actually win there if we have the car and the setup to get it done. Because lately it just feels like we're just or almost there, but not really. But other than that, Chase had a gorgeous car this weekend. And I just saw I checked on my status for my Hooters throwback hat, my black one. It says it's in New York. How are you in New York when I'm over here in Arizona? How did you get from Georgia to New York I, I, I don't. I don't understand. I don't understand. Better not be just chilling in New York and just be like, hey, here I am. I don't know how it got to New York. If I misplaced shipping, I don't know. But hopefully I get that soon because it's been a while. Um, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, going to Dover, and then next up after that is they're going to Coda right after that. So I'm kind of excited about that one too. Um, so we'll see how that goes. We got some good tracks coming up for Chase. Kind of excited about it. Um, Hopefully we get him in victory lane next week or the week after. I just need a win. I just want to win. But yeah, that's my rant for the week. I have to go get some stuff done. Um, it's a Monday. It's my day off. Yesterday, I had a day to just chill, watch the race, watch sports, and drink very heavily. Yes, I'm over the age of 21. I'm allowed to drink. And that's what I did. And I fell asleep like at 10 o'clock at night. My sleep schedule's off because of my work schedule. Um, but, work wise, like opportunities coming up to like apply. I'm going to most likely apply to become a manager, like a operations manager at my work. Because I feel like if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna be able to get my foot in the door. And I just want to start stepping up. I'm kind of tired of like the same old what I'm doing right now. So if I take this chance, hopefully I get it. So this week I'm gonna apply to become a manager, just to get a little bit more experience in the building. Like I pretty much know the building like inside and out at this point from working up top for as long as I have, and I've seen like how managers work, and think it's like shouldn't be too incredibly difficult. So there's that, and still trying to find a place to move out to because yes, I'm still in my parents' house and I don't want to be, but until I find a place, this is where I am right now. But let's have a good week. Let's be nice to people, and let's enjoy Dover this weekend. And if anything else happens, I'll update you guys. So